In the ocean of wisdom left behind by Hazrat Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him, every saying is like a lamp guiding humanity through darkness. Among these pearls of truth is his timeless statement that the poor are the messengers of God, and if you reject the needy, you reject God, and if you give to God. These words are not simply a lesson in charity, they are a revelation of how deeply connected the human relationship with the divine truly is. Imam Ali, known as the gateway to the knowledge of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him and his family, teaches us here that poverty is not merely a social condition but a divine test, a bridge between human beings and their Creator, and the needy are not a burden upon society but honored messengers carrying with them the opportunity for believers to demonstrate their faith and sincerity before Allah. When we encounter the poor, the orphan, the hungry, the sick, or the destitute, we are in fact encountering a messenger from God, someone who has been sent into our lives to test our hearts, our intentions, and our actions. It is easy to pray, to speak of faith, and to claim love for Allah, but when a beggar extends his hand or a neighbor silently suffers in hunger, that is the moment of truth. If we ignore them, we are not just rejecting a human being but rejecting God who sent them as a messenger. And if we open our hearts and give, we are giving to God Himself. This profound teaching changes the way we see the world, it transforms our outlook on wealth, and it reminds us that every coin given in charity, every loaf of bread shared, every hand extended in support is a direct offering to the Lord of the worlds. What greater honor can there be for the poor than being described as God's messengers, and what greater responsibility can there be for us than to treat them with respect, compassion, and generosity? Imam Ali's words pierce through the arrogance of wealth and the pride of material possessions. Wealth is not meant to be hoarded or flaunted but to be shared as a trust from Allah. In reality, nothing belongs to us. Our possessions, our homes, our food, our clothes, and our money are all gifts from Allah, entrusted to us for a short time. The poor are the rightful claimants of a portion of what we hold, and when they come to us, they are not asking us for what belongs to them, they are delivering a message from God, reminding us of our duty. The Quran declares that in the wealth of the rich there is a share for the beggar and the deprived, and this share is not optional, it is a right. By giving, we are not doing a favor to the poor, we are fulfilling an obligation to Allah. But Imam Ali goes even further, reminding us that by giving we are giving to God, and thus every act of charity becomes an act of worship, every kindness an offering, and every sacrifice a step closer to divine pleasure. Think about how differently we would live if we truly saw the poor as messengers of God. Instead of turning away in disgust or ignoring them in shame, we would welcome them as honored guests. Instead of complaining about their needs, we would thank Allah for sending us an opportunity to earn His mercy. Instead of feeling superior to them, we would bow in humility, knowing that they hold the key to our salvation. The poor test the sincerity of our hearts more than any prayer or ritual can. It is easy to appear pious when standing in the mosque, but the real measure of piety is found when confronted with a hungry face, a homeless body, or a needy hand. Imam Ali's wisdom reminds us that our true relationship with God is reflected in how we treat His creation, especially the most vulnerable among them. The life of Imam Ali himself is the greatest proof of his words. History is filled with accounts of his compassion for the poor and needy. Despite being the ruler of the Islamic Empire, he lived a life of simplicity, eating coarse bread and wearing simple clothes, while secretly giving to the poor at night. He would carry bags of flour, dates, and bread on his back to deliver them to the needy without revealing his identity. Only after his martyrdom did people realize that the unknown benefactor who used to visit their homes in the darkness of the night was none other than the commander of the faithful himself. He did not see helping the poor as charity but as his duty before Allah. For him, serving the poor was serving God, and feeding the hungry was feeding for the sake of God. His life is a living commentary on his words that the poor are the messengers of God. This wisdom also challenges the arrogance of those who despise the poor. Many in society look down upon the needy, blaming them for their condition, mocking their appearance, or ignoring their pleas. But Imam Ali flips this attitude completely. To reject the needy is to reject God. To humiliate them is to humiliate oneself before God. To turn away from their cries is to turn away from the mercy of Allah. How many times do we walk past someone in need without a thought? How many times do we waste food while others sleep hungry? Every such act is a silent rejection of the messenger of God standing before us. On the other hand, Every smile, every coin, every kind word, and every shared meal is an acceptance of that messenger and an acceptance of God himself. The poor may not be dressed in fine clothes, they may not speak eloquently, and they may not carry worldly power, but they carry the message of the divine in their suffering, reminding us of our duty and opening a door to our salvation. The Quran and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him and his family, constantly emphasize the duty of caring for the poor. Zakat, sadaqah, khums, and other forms of charity are pillars of Islamic life, not merely to ease the pain of the needy but to purify the hearts of the givers. When Imam Ali says that giving to the poor is giving to God, he is teaching us that charity is not a transaction between two humans but a covenant between the servant and his Lord. Allah does not need our wealth, for he is the owner of all things, but he grants us the honor of giving so that we may purify ourselves, detach from greed, and grow closer to him. In this way, the poor are not recipients of our generosity but catalysts of our spiritual growth. They are not a burden but a blessing, not a problem but a path to divine pleasure. Imagine a society where Imam Ali's words were truly lived. No poor person would ever feel abandoned, no hungry stomach would remain empty, no orphan would feel forgotten, and no widow would feel helpless. The wealthy would see the poor not as beggars but as messengers of God and would rush to serve them. Such a society would be filled with compassion, love, and unity. Crime would diminish, hatred would vanish, and peace would prevail. The bonds between rich and poor would not be defined by arrogance and envy but by mutual respect and mercy. This was the vision of Islam, a society where wealth circulates, where no one is left behind, and where helping the poor is seen as serving God himself. Imam Ali's wisdom is not a distant dream but a practical guide, and it is our failure to live by it that causes the suffering and inequality we see today. Yet, in our modern world, materialism has blinded many hearts. The poor are often ignored, despised, or treated as invisible. Wealth is worshipped, and poverty is shamed. People build walls around themselves, forgetting that the poor outside their gates are messengers of God. In our cities, countless homeless souls wander unnoticed, countless children sleep hungry, countless families cry in silence, while luxury and waste dominate the lives of the rich. Imam Ali's words strike like thunder upon such arrogance, reminding us that to reject the needy is to reject God. Every time we close our doors to the poor, we are closing the door to God's mercy. Every time we share our blessings, we are inviting God's mercy into our lives. This is not just a moral teaching, it is a spiritual law, a divine reality that shapes our destiny. Giving is not only about wealth. Sometimes the greatest gift is a kind word, a smile, or a gesture of respect. Poverty is not only hunger for food but hunger for dignity, love, and compassion. Many poor people suffer more from humiliation and rejection than from material need. When we treat them with kindness, when we listen to their stories, when we acknowledge their humanity, we are honoring the messenger of God. Imam Ali's wisdom teaches us that giving is not measured by the size of the gift but by the sincerity of the heart. A small coin given with love is greater than a fortune given with arrogance. The true giver is not the one who gives from abundance but the one who gives even when he himself has little, knowing that Allah will replace what he spends in his way. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him and his family, once said that on the day of judgment Allah will say, "O son of Adam, I was hungry and you did not feed me, I was thirsty and you did not give me to drink, I was sick and you did not visit me." The servant will ask, "O Lord, how could you be hungry or thirsty or sick when you are the Lord of the worlds?" Allah will reply, "Did you not know that my servant was hungry, and you did not feed him? Did you not know that my servant was thirsty, and you did not quench him? Did you not know that my servant was sick, and you did not visit him? Had you done so, you would have found me with him." This hadith mirrors the wisdom of Imam Ali, that the poor are the messengers of God, and by serving them we serve him, and by rejecting them we reject him. The connection is undeniable, and the responsibility is immense. In the end, Imam Ali's words are not only about the poor but about our entire understanding of life. They teach us humility, reminding us that wealth is a test, not a privilege, and that the true honor lies not in what we possess but in what we give. They remind us that God's mercy flows through the act of helping others, and that every needy person we encounter is a messenger carrying an opportunity for us to grow in faith and earn eternal reward. They warn us that arrogance and rejection of the poor are in fact rejections of God himself, and they call us to open our hearts, our hands, and our homes to those in need. If we truly lived by these words, our lives would be filled with purpose, our societies with justice, and our world with peace. The poor are not distant strangers but divine messengers knocking at our doors. Let us not reject them, for in rejecting them we reject God. Let us give, with love and humility, for in giving to them we are giving to God, and what we give to God is never lost but returned to us multiplied in mercy, in blessings, and in eternal reward.